we have faith, then we have dana, generosity, and sila, morality. The 5 moral precepts are noble virtues that are the foundation to receive the Dhamma. When the Samma Sambuddha, the perfectly awakened Buddha, taught King Bimbisara and his entourage, they saw and attained to Dhamma. They became Sotapannas, stream enterers, and they were established in the 3 refuges. This was from their building and making merit and barami, spiritual accumulations before. If we have already built our merit and barami sufficiently and it is full, then is it easy or difficult to be born into this life as a human being? Wise people say that to get to be born as a human being is so difficult and troublesome. We have probably heard of the various similes of this, like the blind turtle in the middle of the ocean, and the wind is blowing from all the 4 directions. It's like in the present day with storms and a lot of rain. And there is a piece of bamboo with a hole in it, and each 100 years the blind turtle will rise up to the surface. And what are the chances that the turtle can contact this bamboo that is drifting around in the vast ocean? It is incredibly difficult for them to touch, and for the turtle to be able to get its head through the hole in that bamboo is even more difficult. So this is like being born as a human. We can see that there are many people who are born and we call them humans. But in terms of Dhamma, we call them a person. This is because there are many things going inside their minds, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes making merit, sometimes making demerit. It is chaotic in the mind and in the society we live in. We can't trust them at all. They can kill easily as well. Why? This is because the being of a human isn't there. Basically, the khanti, forbearance, is small. But those who are born with the body of a human are ready to receive the Dhamma. But it is about the mind as well. There are those who are human beings only in the human body, like we see on the exterior. But if the mind lacks the noble qualities of a human being, then they won't be able to understand the Dhamma. But one with faith and who has sila are complete as a human being. But how many people are there like this in the world? How many people have the minds of a human? And so the Buddha aspired for all people to be established in sila Dhamma, in goodness. Even though having greed, anger and delusion is normal, but when the mind is established in sila Dhamma, then, though there is greed, anger and delusion, we don't follow it. We bear with it. We may have anger to the point where we want to harm others. We may want to scold, blame, criticize and gossip, but we endure and bear with it. We stay within sila. So sila Dhamma is very important. It is the foundation and floor of all Dhammas. Because when we have hiri, wise shame, and otapa, afraid of the consequences of wrongdoing, then we will be someone who has sila that is complete. When we keep sila already, then this sila has great benefits. Like in the concluding chant in the giving of the precepts like today, Silena sugating yanti, silena bhoga sampada. When we look after our sila, the sila will look after us, so we don't fall to a bad path. And there are many benefits of sila which is described in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. The first benefit is that one who keeps sila will have a great increase in wealth through his diligence, being heedful. Even just at the time when we receive the precepts, we will gain the benefits straight away. We have a favorable reputation because we have sila and have beauty. Those who hear about this will know and rejoice in this. It is said that the benefits of sila will go far and wide, and we can see this in this era. After the Buddha's parinibbana, 2,565 years ago, we still know of Lady Visakha and the wealthy merchant Anathapindika, and we know of the laymen and laywomen in the time of the Buddha who were established in Sila Dhamma, or those having the higher attainments, the many who were Sotapannas and Sakadagamis, once returners, like Lady Samawati and her 500 maids-in-waiting, who had all attained to Sotapanna. This was the benefit of the Sila that they had kept. Those who keep Sila, in whatever society they go into, they are confident and not timid. And this person won't steal our things, this person won't kill us, this person won't harm our minds, they won't steal our love, they won't speak falsehoods. They are someone with complete mindfulness on the level of Sila. And for one who keeps Sila, when they die, what happens? They aren't bewildered in death, and after death they go to Sugati, a happy state. So there are 5 great benefits of Sila as such, so we shouldn't be careless. And we have taken up the precepts today, so try to keep the precepts all day, and our minds will then be joyous with Sila and with Dhamma. We have goodwill, compassion, and appreciative joy looking after our minds. When we practice Dhamma in this way, then when we are born in this era, we are building merit and barami in our hearts. This building of more merit and barami in our hearts is the preparations in order to receive the Dhamma. Then it may be today, a future day, next month, next year, or whenever our barami is sufficient and we are ready, then we will know and see the Dhamma. Into the noble truths that the Buddha attained enlightenment to. The 4 noble truths, as we already know of, are dukkha, suffering, samudaya, the cause, nirodha, cessation, magga, the path. So then, why is it we don't really know yet? This body is a heap of impermanence, a heap of suffering, a heap of anatta, not self. So why don't we see it? We see it as a self, as my self constantly. When we have self and myself, then ignorance, craving, and attachment covers over our minds that makes it see in this way. But when we practice Dhamma, we develop meditation and samadhi concentration, we make our minds peaceful, and we gradually learn more and more about developing the mind, until our minds become well established, and then our sila will become more pure as well. But what about those who don't have sila? They have their subsequent results as well. From killing of living beings, whether by themselves or having others to do it, the stealing of others' wealth, the breaking of precepts with other people's children, wives or husbands, these have a lot of faults. So we refrain from all this. We refrain from speaking falsely, refrain from making our mind drunk. Why? Because these days we are already drunk a lot. Drunk in wealth, drunk in fame and reputation, drunk a lot in the way we live our lives. So we don't add more to that drunkenness. If we add to that drunkenness, then we will have no chance to train in mindfulness and samadhi. This is because the foundation is not good. Like we can see in a big building, strong posts are put into the ground. But if the water seeps under the posts and erode it, then even a big building can collapse in the blink of an eye. But if there is no water, because it can't find a way in, then the building will not collapse. The strength of the building can hold and be safe. So when we have strong sila, and we maintain it so that there is nothing damaging our foundations, then our minds are firm, and we are ready to receive the Dhamma. Because one who breaks sila has a lot of faults. What is the fault? Taking the life of living beings, it makes our life shorter, and this result of karma gives its fruit. Even when one is born as a human, they will receive difficulties and troubles. and this karmic result can pull us to the lower realms. The people who steal others' wealth will be someone who has their own wealth diminish. When born as a human, their wealth can be stolen or disappear, or the result of that karma may lead one to be born as an animal that has lots of suffering and difficulties. And for the people who break the third precept regularly, then they can go to hell easily. They are someone who people have grudges against, and they make enemies. When they are human, they have many enemies. Those who lie, who don't speak the truth, there isn't anyone who believes their speech. They lie, and so their speech isn't reliable. The karmic result will take one to the lower realms easily after dying from a human. Taking alcohol is the same. It makes us born with a brain not complete. One can be insane, dumb, or go crazy, and can fall to the hell realms, be a hungry ghost or asura demon, where there is just suffering. So the Buddha taught of sila. So for us people, to be born into this world was not easy. For us to have a long life till today is not easy. For us to have a long life into the future, till 120 or 100 years of age, then it's up to our merit and barami that we have built. But however it is, the benefit of dana and sila is that we will be someone with a long life. And the long lifespan of the mind is more important, not just the age of the body. The body may have a long life, but if our mind is not complete, then we could do very bad, unskillful karma. But one who has a long life is long in terms of the body and physical strength, and has the strength of mind too. Then they have happiness and have freshness in the mind. So one with sila is like a tree that has received a lot of rain, like in this rainy season, which has greenness and freshness. The freshness from dana and from sila. So this is about our minds. Sila is a noble virtue and a spiritual perfection that will promote our minds to have peace and happiness, and for it to be ready to contemplate and to understand the fundamentals of the Four Noble Truths, to understand dukkha and upadana, clinging and attachment. When we have contemplated it, then we can let go. And even if it is just temporarily, then we will see the noble truth of Nirodha, cessation of suffering, that it has happiness and satisfaction just like this. It has rapture and bliss like this. So we learn Dhamma, we keep the moral precepts, and then there is great benefit, like what I have explained today sufficiently, and so I'll end the Dhamma talk here.